January 21st, 2021. Boom! What a big day, guys. So I just shared on my Instagram story a post by I Can Decide, which of course is the nonprofit that Del Bigtree runs in conjunction with his Highwire show, where he works with people like Robert Kennedy to fight lawsuits against our regulatory agencies, whether it's HHS, CDC, FDA, you name it. They are going after their false claims and demanding that they be held accountable for the content or the statements that they make, that it be backed up with science. And that's just never the case. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you how they're still lying on the website. Even though this is a huge step, still a lie. Loaded with lies on their website, of course. And of course, all the science that they're going to cite that supports their statement is funded by who? They themselves, the CDC. It always is the case. So who funds the studies? Where's the conflicts of interest? Those are important things that you have to keep in mind. So let's jump over to the internet. If I can. Here we go. All right, so on Instagram, I Can, legal update. And they have 3 different slides that they showed that, you could choose to share. But basically, bottom line, the CDC finally capitulated to ICANN's legal demands and removed the claim that vaccines do not cause autism. Vaccines, plural, do not cause autism, because you cannot prove that statement. And so that's a huge win. And they show the old version where it says vaccines do not cause autism. It's really hard to see there, but it's there. It no longer says that, and now it says autism and vaccines. So let's go look at the CDC website at what it looks like now. So it used to say here, vaccines do not cause autism. Now it says autism and vaccines. Autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disability that can cause significant social, communication, and behavioral challenges. Recent estimates from CDC Autism and Developmental Disability Monitoring Network, which these estimates are fraudulent. I have uploaded one of the past Highwire episodes where a whistleblower from the CDC that worked with the University of Utah proved that they were manipulating the data, trying to show lower rates of autism than truly are. So in Utah, the rate is really around 1 in 20 boys, similar in New Jersey, 1 in 20 boys. And the rates aren't quite so bad for girls. And at a national level, what they're saying is around 1 in 54 kids have autism total. So that's also looking at like 8-year-olds. I guarantee you the real number today in kids from newborns to adolescent is probably more like 1 in 30 on average, and worse than 1 in 20 in boys. It's horrible. So anyway, CDC is committed to providing essential data on ASD, searching for causes and factors that increase the risk of ASD, and developing resources to help identify it as early as possible. But then you go on and it says there is no link between vaccines and autism. So they're still just dancing around it. They're still citing the same 2011 IOM report that says there's not enough data to support this, that it does or does not cause autism. So we still don't know. So it's a win that they had to take down that bold statement of vaccines do not cause autism. And then they still are trying to still get across the same message in general, saying there's no link between vaccines and autism. And then, of course, vaccine ingredients do not cause autism. Thimerosal does not cause autism. And here's our CDC-funded studies that prove it. What a freaking joke. Do your own research. Yeah, go read these studies. It is important to read their information, which I have. But then go find all the rest of the information that's out there. And Robert Kennedy's nonprofit Children's Health Defense gathers a lot of that for you. You go over to childrenshealthdefense.org, head over to the menu, dive into research, science libraries, research and critiques, mercury, thimerosal, autism. Let's jump in over here. You can go over to this website and they have tons and tons of resources. This first PDF has over 240 studies that show a strong causal relationship between thimerosal mercury and autism. You can download this PDF, and it's highly referenced, of course, and it walks you through the abstracts of all the different studies. Go ahead and go do that. And then, of course, it links a lot of them individually in here. You can go through and read it. Of course, Russell Blaylock and his work on immunoexcitotoxicity is cited quite a bit in here, and many other researchers looking at mercury. And I've posted many videos that walk you through the science of exactly how trace amounts, tiny amounts of specifically thimerosal is causing extreme and severe neurodegeneration in our kids' brains. And it's important that they still try to debunk, right, thimerosal link to autism, because even though they're going to tell you, oh, we've taken thimerosal out of most of the vaccines, that's a bold-faced lie. I've shared a ton of information on my Instagram about thimerosal and about the manufacturing process and how they've changed how they use thimerosal. Instead of using it specifically in quite heavy amounts as a preservative in the vaccine, they now use it in the manufacturing process, and then it's removed in the final product. And yet if you go to the FDA website and look at thimerosal and preservative-free vaccines or thimerosal-free vaccines, it'll tell you, well, it's still used in the manufacturing process. And yes, there's trace amounts in the final product. So it's still there, guys. It's still there, and it's a big deal. So go to the CDC website, read through all their references, but you have to go beyond these industry-funded studies and look at independent research, look at research by every angle you can. That's what's key, okay? So I just want to take a few minutes and say congratulations, Dell, Robert Kennedy, everybody involved, all the legal teams. I'm sure Aaron Siri was involved in all of this. You guys are amazing, and I donate where I can to you guys. It's tough with special needs kids, but I do. And I hope everybody out there that can donates to ICAN. ICANDecide.org, and they have tons of information on here. All their white papers where they've challenged vaccine information, putting a ton of great information on here. Their white papers, their FOIA requests, their lawsuits. These government link is fantastic, where they're challenging each individual regulatory agency. So you can actually download the presentations. I just shared a recent presentation of Del Bigtree's original vaccine safety project presentation. That's here. You can download the PowerPoint or the keynote and kind of work out your own presentation and share it with your family. Teach them, right? Teach them how to go out and look at the real data before they start injecting poison into their precious babies. So lots of great resources. ICANDecide.org has a ton of great information. Donate is where you're going to want to go and set up some donations with them. You can do a single donation. You can do recurring donations. But this is important. They need as much help as possible, and they've done so much when it comes to calling out the lies and proving that they haven't done the work. So actually, I just want to read through this one. It says, in the summer of 2019, ICANN submitted a FOIA request to the CDC requesting that all studies relied upon by the CDC to claim that the DTaP vaccine does not cause autism. ICANN also submitted the same request for the Hep B, the Hib, the PCV13, and the IPV, as well as requested the CDC provide studies to support the cumulative exposure, this is key, cumulative exposure to these vaccines during the first 6 months of life do not cause autism. Despite months of demands, the CDC failed to produce a single specific study in response to these FOIA requests. ICANN was therefore forced to sue the CDC in federal court, where the CDC finally conceded in a stipulation signed by the federal court judge that it had no studies to support that any of these vaccines do not cause autism. In other words, the CDC listed a review in response to the FOIA request that proves that there are no studies to support that the DTaP does not cause autism. And if you've watched any, my video on aluminum toxicity. We walk through many of the studies that have come out over the past decade that basically prove that it does. The science is there, guys. It's up to you to go learn it. It's up to you as a parent to go learn the information before you blindly trust these people that are profiting off the backs of your kids and the risks that you're taking with their lives. So, as I always say, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, make your own decisions, and fight for the freedom to do so. All right, guys? That's really all I had to say today. Love you.